Okay, so for the layman, what's a carbon credit?
Carbon credit is where some entity somewhere, say in Africa, in Latin America, maybe even in England, does something that's good for the environment. They might suck CO2 out of the sky. They might prevent deforestation. They might promote a net gain in biodiversity. Carbon credit is the cash value of that activity on the basis that it's good for the world, on the basis that that is actually valuable, and it's accounted for in tons of carbon, kind of mitigated or reduced.
So as an example, you've got the Amazon rainforest. I'm guessing there's tons of carbon credits potentially that can be extracted from there. So how do you determine the cash value?
So it's less about extracting the value from the rainforest. It's more about making sure that the rainforest is being appropriately preserved such that it will help either mitigate or reduce global warming. Now, because there's this concept called additionality. Like what you can't do is say, I've got 10 trees in my garden, where are my carbon credits? It's more you have to go and plant 10 more trees. Now you get carbon credits. So I think but the way you evaluate it, you know, the trees is, and this is why the market's so complicated, because it's very, very varied. So with trees, there are various methods you could use, but ultimately you're trying to assess the amount of biomass there is. Because once you know how much biomass there is, literally like how, you know, many kilograms of tree there is over 20,000 hectares, once you know how many kilograms of tree, you can roughly work out how much carbon is fixed in those trees. And that is roughly how much carbon that they have taken from the atmosphere, right? And put into the tree, because the tree is mostly made of carbon anyway. And so you can measure that partially with satellites increasingly, and that's one of the things that we do. So you can measure the change in the biomass over time to see, hey, look, the planting of trees 15 years ago, now we're seeing this increase in biomass year on year. So this 20,000 hectare area increased in biomass by X. And that means that 100,000 tons were sequestered. And that's the kind of, you know, technique that you can use to evaluate the cash opportunity. And then, yeah, in terms of the value per credit, it depends on the type. If you're sucking CO2 from the sky and storing it, you are going to be making a lot more money from your credit than if you're just making aircraft more efficient on fuel.
Okay, and then Change Block is the platform where people can buy and sell their carbon credits.